Good morning, and today we're on Helaman chapter 4. And last time there was quite a lot of peace in the land except for the pride in the church. And then it says that some were prideful in the church to the not being kind to other members of the church, but there were some that were very humble and submissive and things. And Helaman's son Nephi takes the judgment seat. Was I right about that? Yeah. After his father, so and I believe it must be Nephi that's writing all this, because I think Helaman passed on. And now we are in, so here we have pride in the church, and it starts to fall apart a bit here. And it came to pass the 54th year, there were many dissensions in the church, and there was also contention among the people, insomuch that there was much bloodshed. So with dissensions in the church and contentions civilly, they were having a pretty bad time, and the rebellious part were slain and driven out of the land. And they did go unto the king of the Lamanites, and it came to pass that they did endeavor to stir up the Lamanites to war against the Nephites. But behold, the Lamanites were exceedingly afraid, insomuch that they would not hearken unto the words of those dissenters. They'd been beaten back so many times. But it came to pass in the 56th year of the reign of the judges, there were dissenters who went up from the Nephites unto the Lamanites, and they succeeded with those others in stirring up to anger against the Nephites, and they were all that year preparing for war. It just seems like it just never ends. Somebody gets annoyed at something, they go to the Lamanites and try to get them stirred up, which by now is hugely made up of families who have dissented. So we're talking about the Amalekites, the Amlicites, the Zoramites. All of those people have been part of this, the Lamanites, for a generation or two. So they are more the Lamanites. A lot of the Lamanites have been converted, have become members of the church, have been part of the people of Ammon, and so this is a whole different generation, a whole different people. And in the 57th year, they came down against the Nephites to battle, and they did commence the work of death, insomuch that 58th year of the reign of the judges, they succeeded in obtaining possession of the land of Zarahemla. Did the time scale here, just want to see, 57th year was when they came down, 58th year, so a whole, pretty much 2 years. They succeeded in obtaining the land of Zarahemla, and also all the lands, even until the land which was near land bountiful. And the Nephites and the armies of Moronihah were driven even to the land of bountiful. And there they did fortify against the Lamanites from the west sea even unto the east, it being a day's journey for a Nephite on the line which they had fortified, and stationed their armies to defend their north country. So at least that little day's journey, that you can pretty much have a battlefront there to protect yourselves. And thus those dissenters of the Nephites, with the help of a numerous army of Lamanites, had obtained all the possession of the Nephites, which was in the land southward. And all this was done in the 58th year, and 9 years, 58th and 9th years of the reign of the judges. So again, another year, so about 3 years. Notice here, though, I'll read a little bit more and then we'll look at it. And it came to pass in the 60th year of the reign of the judges, Moroni succeeded with his armies in obtaining many parts of the land. Yea, they regained many cities which had fallen into the hands of the Lamanites. And it came to pass that in the 61st year of the reign of the judges, they succeeded in regaining even half of all their possessions. Now, in these few verses, we've had more difficulty, more intrigue, and more military defense and military things than we had in what we call the word chapters in Alma. But we don't have much of a history here. Now, this is why I have a hard time with the word chapters, or people saying, oh, look, Mormon was a warrior and military man, and that's why we have those word chapters. It's not that. He had a message to give, and we saw that message. Here, he just is letting them know where they are, and we're going to see something miraculous, not in this chapter, but in a future chapter, and why we have to know about this. But he doesn't tell about the battles or anything, or how they won over the Lamanites. He doesn't have to. He had already done that, and for a good reason. And this one, it is about what we're going to learn now, because remember, thus we see in purple. Well, we're going to get some purple here. Now, this great loss of the Nephites and the great slaughter which was among them would not have happened had it not been for their wickedness and abomination among them. And it was among those who professed to belong to the church of God. That is so damning of a thing right there. He's really come down and saying, this is the problem. And it was because of those who belonged to the church of God, not just anyone. It was those, and it was because of the pride of their hearts, because of their exceeding riches, and it was because of their oppression to the poor, withholding the food from the hungry. Now notice these things that they've done. I've left them in purple. I did this ages ago and left it in purple. I thought about changing it, but it sticks out. These are the things of why they were failing, and it's things that we have to look to in our day. Withholding the food from the hungry, withholding the clothing from the naked, and smiting their humble brethren upon the cheek, making a mock of that which was sacred, denying the spirit of prophecy and of revelation, murdering, plundering, lying, stealing, committing adultery, and rising up in great contentions, and deserting away into the land of Nephi among the Lamanites. So all that is what they're condemned of. And notice the first ones were always to do with those that were poor, hungry and naked. It's not good to see sometimes. And because of this, their great wickedness, and their boastings in their own strength, they were left in their own strength. Therefore, they did not prosper, but they were afflicted and smitten, and driven before the Lamanites until they had lost possession of almost all their lands. A little bit on this little pride. I know this is not general or anything, but I have listened to some entrepreneur podcasts and things, and I like that. I like to hear things, what people are doing and things. But a few of them do promote the fact that, if you can pay, the people who pay more for your services are the ones that are better customers, and therefore you should only look to those that pay for your services. This is like in coaching and things like that, that will pay more because they will be better customers. And that's probably true, but at the same time, it was putting down the fact that not realizing it was denigrating those that could not pay, really. And it just kind of grinded on me. And I think there's a little bit of a pride in there, saying, oh yeah, we're a little bit better than them, and that's why we can pay, or something along that line. And we're talking about thousands of pounds that they're talking about, not just, or dollars, not just a little bit. Anyway, I take from that what you will. But behold, Moronihah did preach many things unto the people because of their iniquities, and also Nephi and Lehi, who were the sons. Now notice what it says here. Moronihah did preach many things unto the people. He's the military leader because of their iniquities, and also Nephi and Lehi, who were the sons of Helaman, did preach many things unto the people, and did prophesy many things unto them concerning their iniquities, and what should come of them if they did not repent of their sins. And it came to pass that they did repent, insomuch that as they repent, and inasmuch as they repent, they did begin to prosper. There's that word that goes again. When they don't listen to God, they don't prosper, and when they do prosper. And for when Moronihah saw that they did repent, he did venture to lead them forth from place to place, from city to city, until he had regained 1/2 of their property and 1/2 of all their lands. And thus ended the 61st year of the reign of the judges. And it came to pass that the 62nd year of the reign of the judges, Moronihah could obtain no more possessions over the land of the Lamanites. Therefore they abandoned their design to obtain the remainder of their lands, for so numerous were the Lamanites that it became impossible for the Nephites to obtain more power over them. Therefore Moronihah did employ his armies in maintaining those parts which he had taken. And it came to pass that the greatness of the number of the Lamanites, because of the greatness of the number of the Lamanites, the Nephites were in great fear lest they should be overpowered and trodden down and slain and destroyed. Yea, they began to remember the prophecies of Alma, and also the words of Messiah, and they saw that they had been a stiff-necked people, and that they had set at naught the commandments of God, and that they had altered and trampled under their feet the laws of Messiah, or that which the Lord commanded him to give unto the people. And they saw that their laws had become corrupted, and that they become a wicked people, insomuch that they were wicked, even like unto the Lamanites. And because of their iniquity, the church began to dwindle, and they began to disbelieve in the spirit of prophecy and in the spirit of revelation. Remember, that wasn't the problem back in Alma's time. Well, except for those that dissented, but this is the spirit of prophecy and revelation that helped them win the wars. And that's what they needed now. And the judgments of God did stare them in the face, and they saw that they had become weak like unto their brethren the Lamanites, and the Spirit of the Lord did no more preserve them. Yea, it had withdrawn from them, because of the Spirit. The Spirit of the Lord doth not dwell in unholy temples. Therefore the Lord did cease to preserve them by his miraculous, matchless power, for they had fallen into a state of unbelief and awful wickedness, and they saw that the Lamanites were exceedingly numerous, more numerous than they, and except they should cleave unto the Lord their God, they must unavoidably perish. Notice that a lot of the times, all the Lord has to do is to remove his spirit from a person for them to be destroyed. He'll preserve them with their miraculous power, but as soon as he removes himself from the equation, because they want him to, they don't want him there. Well, at this point they do, but then as soon as they remove God from the equation and God says, okay, if that's what you want, I'll go, then they fall. And I think that's the same with us. If we remove God from the equation, we become like they do. For behold, they saw that the strength of the Lamanites was as great as their strength, even man for man. Thus they had fallen into great transgression, and thus they had become weak because of their transgression in the space of not many years. So he was showing us, thus we see that it didn't take long for them to get in that way, and that they became weak like unto the Lamanites. They could, is a visible, that is a easy to see. You know, we had the stripling warriors that should not have had that power to stand against the most powerful army of the Lamanites in that part of the land, but they did. And here we have the opposite. They, even this, as strong as they might be, they were no stronger than Lamanites. And that's because the power of God was not with them. And with that, I hope that what we can do is remember the poor and the needy, and to do those things, and remember the prophecies of our prophets and apostles, especially Elder Nelson, or President Nelson at this time. He has a lot that will give us power and strength in our times. And so I hope you have a good day.